start with reaction cards. Just a thing to note, I am not covering signature spells because usually they require 2 different rune colors, and I am only covering popular cards. And let's go! So firstly, we have Gust, the most popular reaction card in the game, because it is incredibly cheap and easy to use. For just 1 resource, you force your opponent to take back a unit with 3 might or less, right back into their hand. This is tough for your opponent because it completely ruins their combat plans, wastes the energy they've spent, and for you, it's a fast way to keep your board safe, clear an annoying blocker, or slow down an early enemy attack. So next we have Star-Crossed. This card gives you massive tempo swing by forcing your opponent to take back 1 of their units while you pull back 1 of yours. It is super worth it, especially if the enemy units cost them a ton of energy to summon. It is amazing to delay your opponent's core threat for just yet another round. And for you, it opens up great plays. You can use it to dodge a deadly removal spell or bounce a unit with a cool summon ability so you can drop it and trigger it all over again. And third, we have Hard Bargain. It is the ultimate shutdown card that stops an opponent's spell unless they pay a tax. It is frustrating for your opponent because it ruins their momentum, wastes their entire turn's worth of energy for absolutely nothing. And for you, it offers total safety, especially in the late game where you can pay the extra cost to double the tax and ensure their biggest play gets completely deleted. Abandon looks like a counter spell, but it is actually just a clever way to delay things. It stops an opponent's spell but forces them to take it right back into their hand. If they have enough resources, they can play again on the same turn, and if they don't, they will try again next turn. The real power is using it on yourself. If an opponent tries to stop your big play with a counter card like Defy, you can abandon your own spell to make their counter completely miss, bouncing your card safely back to your hand to try again later. Plus, the bonus mechanic lets you look at the top of your deck to fix a bad hand. And next we have Flash. This is a sneaky movement tool that lets you instantly move up to 2 of your units back to base. And this causes your opponent to waste resources, especially if they spend a ton of energy buffing their units just to fight you at the battlefield. And then you can use Flash to simply escape their attack and leave them swinging at nothing. You may also choose to flash a ready unit at the battlefield back to base to try and conquer the other side, shifting your forces out of nowhere. Kha'Zix is a massive surprise threat your opponent can drop straight into a fight. As long as your opponent already has a unit on that battlefield, his ambush ability lets him swoop in as a reaction and turn the battle completely in their favor. His ability makes him lethal against lone targets. If you are attacking or defending completely alone against Kha'Zix, he gains an extra 2 might for the turn and 2 XP. It is a fantastic card for punishing anyone who leaves a single unit unprotected, letting your opponent easily hunt down isolated threats while leveling up their champion. Are you one of those that require very specific cards to get your deck engine going? Lunar Boon is all about fast card draw, letting you throw away 1 card to pull 2 new ones from your deck. It doesn't hurt your opponent directly, but it heavily rewards your own consistency by hunting down your best winning pieces. The trick is to wait until the very end of your opponent's turn to spend your leftover energy so you can start your next round with a massive hand. Lastly, we have Hitler's Resurrection. This is a high-risk card that lets you sacrifice 1 of your own units to instantly bring back a unit from your trash pile. This is highly annoying for your opponent because it punishes them for trying to clear your board. It is a brilliant way to turn a bad situation into a massive upgrade by sacrificing a unit that was about to die anyway, ruining their removal spell while cheating a giant threat onto the field. Now let's move on to action cards. Stack Deck is by far the most popular action card because it helps you find the exact cards you need for just 1 resource. It lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 straight into your hand and recycle the rest. This is great for you because it instantly lets you search for your best winning pieces or quick answers. This card is good against slow control decks because it helps you dig for your threats faster than your opponent can find their answers, keeping your game running smoothly. Ride the Wind is a highly flexible 2-resource spell that lets you move a friendly unit and instantly ready them for action. This is tough for your opponent because it completely ruins their math. They might think a battlefield is completely safe, only for you to maneuver a unit in out of nowhere. For you, it is a fantastic tool to save an exhausted unit from a bad spot, reposition your forces, and suddenly push to conquer an open battlefield. Next, we have Switcheroo. This is a popular trick card that lets you swap the might of 2 units at the same battlefield. This causes your opponent to waste resources because they will invest a lot into a giant attacker only for you to swap its power with a tiny unit right before combat. It allows your weakest unit to suddenly destroy their best fighter. This card absolutely wrecks buff decks that rely on putting all their energy into a single giant unit. Rebuke is a solid control card that forces any unit at the battlefield right back to its owner's hands. This is super frustrating for your opponent, especially if they spent a ton of energy summoning a high-cost unit just to watch it get kicked off the board. For you, it's a quick way to safely clear out an unbeatable blocker. This card is best against ramp decks that try to cheat out expensive high-tier units in the game. Acceptable Losses is a powerful removal card that forces both players to destroy one of their own gears. This massive advantage here is that you can play this even if you do not have any gears on the board, forcing your opponent to scrap their equipment while you lose absolutely nothing. This completely disrupts Aurora players and anyone else who relies on equipment or gears to run their deck engine or protect a specific unit. It is a hard counter against gear-heavy decks because once you wipe out their main tools, their entire strategy falls apart. And then we have Existential Dread. This is a unique defensive spell that stuns an attacking enemy unit, and if they are already stunned, it bounces them to the hand instead. This is bad for your opponent because it ruins their attack momentum, making them lose out on crucial combat damage for the turn. This card is also excellent against aggro or rush decks because it stalls out their fast attackers and stops them from conquering your battlefields early on. Factory Recall is a cheap 1-resource card made specifically to return a gear piece back to its owner's hand. It completely ruins your opponent's math by stripping away their powerful equipment, but you can also use it to bounce and save your own gear from being destroyed. This card is purely a tech choice against gear decks, allowing you to completely break down the specialized items for almost no cost. And that's it for this video. I hope this was useful and helpful and informative for you. And if you don't mind, please follow and drop me a like. And if there isn't anything to improve, please let me know. Thank you. Bye.